Hello and welcome to the Pixel Street Podcast, episode 91. We are getting closer and closer to episode 100. My name is Joel Campos, and along with me today is the man who just bought 20 PlayStation 2s today in honor of the 20th anniversary, John Hansen.
That would have been a really good idea if I had that kind of money.
How much does a PS2 go for on eBay?
On eBay, I'm not sure. Back when I worked at Disc Replay, they were, depending on the model you got, it was like either $50 or $60, I want to say.
I was going to guess like $50. Yeah, I'm looking on eBay right now. You can get one, looks like a pretty good condition one for $60.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's for the OG fat one, and then you can get the skinny one for $40. This is like one of the consoles I do not own.
Really? Have you never owned it?
No, we used to have one. It was my brother's, so I definitely played a lot of games on it, but I currently do not own one. Like, I own a lot. Like, I own a PS3, PS4, 360, some other stuff, but yeah, I definitely currently do not own a PS2. So that might be a cool thing to pick up someday if I see a good sale, garage sale or something. But nonetheless, that is not what we're here to talk about, John. We're here.
I don't know about that. It might be.
I mean, yeah, we're going to have time to kill for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty slow news week. This week we're going to be talking about a leaked Starr Wars game because apparently they have more to give over at EA.
More games for them to later on cancel.
Who knows? I mean, the fact that it was up on the PSN store, like, we'll talk about this in a bit.
Yeah.
But so we got that, and we also have an article about a FIFA Pro losing a game because of a glitch in the game, which is pretty crazy. And then we're going to go into some coronavirus stuff, and that'll be the topic of the show, kind of how that'll affect the gaming industry and how it could potentially affect the gaming industry. But before we get to that, you can find the Pixel Street Podcast on most podcast platforms on Fridays as well as on YouTube. You can now watch the show directly on our Facebook group by searching for Pixel Street Podcast on Facebook. We enjoy having new people follow our content, and we hope to keep you around. With that in mind, we have decided to run another giveaway once we reach 100 followers or 100 episodes. I don't know. We haven't really decided, but it'll happen in the near future. We just did a giveaway for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That went pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And
we'll probably have another
quick update on where we are sitting at right now. We are at the moment of this recording at 68 followers. We actually dropped a couple.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like we were at like 72 before.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, chances are pretty high. If you follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street Pod, chances are pretty high, you know, like 1 in a 100 chance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even less, actually, because 3 of us on the show follow our podcast. So, yeah, definitely go check us out on Twitter to stay up to date with those releases or those giveaways. First and foremost, let's get into this video game release list, John.
Nothing this week.
There's a lot.
Just nothing. Just nothing.
Oh, come on. There's at least 50 Switch games coming out.
But anything worth talking about?
No, definitely not.
How about this? After Party comes out to the Switch Friday, March 6th. That's a decent game. It's by the guys that made Oxenfree. I didn't like it as much as I liked Oxenfree, but it was still decent.
I did not play Oxenfree, but I played After Party. I enjoyed it for what it was. I feel like I was way more excited going into it. I thought it was going to be kind of a fuller experience, but it was kind of lackluster in terms of, like, I guess, like, the story was pretty straightforward. You kind of knew what was coming the whole time.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend to you to play Oxenfree, because Oxenfree is the same kind of play style, but a much different story, and I'm not going to tell you anything that happens in it because I went in blind and I was just blown away by it. Also coming out on March 6th is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, which is a remake of 2 Game Boy Advance games for the Switch. They are dungeon crawler Pokemon games. I haven't played them myself, but they look decent. My one thing with this though is kind of like how a lot of people were upset that Link's Awakening was $60 for a remake of a Game Boy game. This is a $60 remake of a Game Boy Advance game. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up for that price.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I never played the OG one. I remember when they announced this. Was it during that Pokemon Direct?
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not something I'm interested in. I don't think.
Yeah. There is a demo on there on the Switch eShop. I haven't given it a try yet. Well, I guess we can throw a game coming out next week because our next show won't be out before then. Okay, so another game that we can talk about that's actually coming out next week, but we won't have another show before this comes out, is Ori and the Will of the Wisp, which is one of my most looked forward to games of the year after playing the Blind Forest earlier this year or late last year. Excellent game, getting a lot of very good previews so far. I'm very excited to give that a try. I know you had a problem with Blind Forest. Are you going to give this one a try?
So I did have a problem with Blind Forest where one of my checkpoints was where I was trapped. So the way the game works is like if you die in a certain place, it'll just refresh you essentially to right before you died or to the last time you saved. And for me, I had grabbed an orb to open some like stone wall to get into this little nook. And I died while I was in that nook, and when I respawned, it kept respawning me there. But luckily, I had to Google it a bunch. It was hard for me to find, but in the main menu, you can reload previous saves, because it's auto-saves.
Alright, that's good.
So I was able to reload, so I played a bit more of it. I only played up to the first, I guess it's like a chase scene, if that makes any sense. It was
I know
where
what you're talking about.
I like brought water to the tree or something like that, like a dead tree. And that was fucking intense.
Those are the best moments of that game.
No, don't get me wrong. It was awesome, but I literally sat here for like 45 minutes, just kept trying and trying. And then I finally beat that scene, and that's when I stopped playing.
That moment is pretty infamous with Ori. A lot of people have issues with it. It took me probably 10 or 15 minutes. I didn't think it was too much, but I'm also hardcore in the platforming games. I absolutely love that moment. The music that goes along with it is perfect. There's a couple more moments in the game where you do stuff like that, and I absolutely love them. I really hope those make a return in Will of the Wisp because I love those moments.
I think it was actually just announced last week that those are also in the game.
All right, awesome.
Those chase scenes. But yeah, that's kind of when I stopped. I'm not sure how many. I'm assuming that those chase scenes mark like pivotal points in the game. You know, like I'm sure if I knew how many there were, I'd be able to tell like, oh, I'm 1/3 of the way done of the game.
Yeah, there's 3 in the game.
1/4.
There's
okay.
There's one at the end of the first temple, like you were just doing. The second temple is the ice one, so I think that one does as well. And then the third one has one, and that one is literally the end of the game.
Yeah, I think I was reading that the new game is supposed to be much longer.
Probably. The first one took me only like 4 hours, maybe, to beat.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I would say it's quite a bit longer, just if they're building off of it so much more.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm extremely excited. I'll probably want to finish Ori and the Blind Forest before I hop into Will of the Wisps, and I don't think I'd be beating that before it comes out. But I mean, it's something I definitely would get to in the future, especially because like I have a feeling that game's gonna review super well, just because like it kind of has like a cult following in terms of the first game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you either don't like it at all or you're like obsessed with it, and a lot of people are obsessed with Ori.
Oh yeah, Ori's cute. They've got a new plush for him. Some guys from Moon Studios, the developers, just like recently put up pictures of them wearing Ori onesies.
That's pretty cute. Why don't I see that at Party City?
Right?
Huh? They're trying to franchise him, huh?
I guess.
Is Ori a boy or a girl?
I think a boy.
This is the kind of content we need to provide the people, John.
He's a spirit guardian. I know that much.
Is Ori a boy or girl? Let's see what the Steam community has to say. Okay, so the question is Ori a boy or a girl? Just wondering. Ori's gender is undefined. It is up to you to call Ori he or she. Okay. I would rather say Ori is an it.
Well, like Ori literally is born from a tree, so
So Ori's a fungus, like a fungi.
No, he'd be a plant.
Ori's gender was deliberately left to be open to player interpretation. With that said, I'm curious to see what your perceptions are, as I've always seen the character as a she. So yeah, I guess the devs purposefully don't state that. But yeah, the new one's coming out soon.
It's not like it really matters either way.
I was just curious. I don't know. Yeah, any other games coming out? No?
Nah.
That's in the future?
Yeah.
All right. I guess let's get into the games we've been playing. What have you been playing?
All right, so the first game I want to get into is actually one I haven't played for a couple of weeks, but we haven't recorded in like a month. I played and beat Luigi's Mansion 3, and it was my first Luigi's Mansion game, and I had a pretty good time with it. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite Nintendo games ever. I had a good time, but it wasn't like I wasn't ever blown away by the gameplay or anything. Part of it that I was blown by is the animations and the cutscenes. This game, it looks beautiful, and all the animations and cutscenes that play throughout the game are just excellent. Very good time all the way through. I'm not sure. I might go back and play the first one on GameCube because I do own it. I just never played it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, I just don't really have anything more to say about it. It's just it was good. I don't think it was as good as people were like making it out to be at the end of last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is one of those franchises that just has like a super cult following.
Yeah,
and I never quite understood it because I've never played one of the games. It just doesn't look like something that would be for me. But I feel like the general consensus though is that this kind of fell flat from what people were expecting when they announced a new Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, really? Did it? No. I kept thinking that people thought it was amazing and everything, and I just thought it was good.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably will never play it unless it, I borrow it from a friend or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is just not a game I would be super into, I don't think.
Yeah, it just is kind of weird to me because at the end of the day, it's a Mario series game and you can't jump or anything. So like, I don't know. I get that it's supposed to be a very different kind of game. It just didn't really appeal to me as much as I was hoping it would when I went in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about you?
Would you play a sequel if another one came out?
Maybe. It would depend on how it looked.
Gotcha. Yeah, moving on to me. I got back into Fortnite. I don't know why, because the new season started, but I just started playing at the end of last week, I want to say. Yeah, I haven't played on Xbox at all. I decided, I was listening to one of the Kind of Funny podcasts, and Greg Miller was talking about how he was playing on his phone and it was running very well. So I decided, I'll download it on my phone. I have an Xbox controller at work. I'll connect it to that and play there. And it runs surprisingly well on the phone now. Like, especially with a controller, it's really fun. I also downloaded it on my iPad, and my iPad definitely looks better than my Switch when I play. Like, it just has better graphical powers, I guess. Like, the iPad, I guess, is just stronger than the Nintendo Switch, so it looks really good on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just kind of been playing during lunch breaks at work, and I started playing a match before bed. And I've been playing on the phone mainly, so I've been very good. Because I'd imagine most people playing on the phone do not have an Xbox controller synced with their, phones.
Well, that's got crossplay, right?
Well, yeah, but if you're playing on phone, you're only playing with other people on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Unless you switch your settings to, multiple consoles or whatever. It works the same way on Xbox. It'll only match you with other people on consoles. I think it does it with Xbox and PS4.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll never automatically match you with PC people unless you specifically go in your settings and select, crossplay with all or whatever the feature is.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been getting back into it. It's fun. I still haven't bought the Battle Pass, but I have a feeling I'll be buying it this weekend.
Yeah, cool.
But enough Fortnite. It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
You can just fucking walk into a Target, you'll see it.
Pretty much. Other game I've been playing is a RPG on Game Pass called Indivisible, and I am really into this game right now.
Is this another platformer?
It does have some platforming to it. Yeah, it's kind of just an RPG / platformer.
It's like a side scroller, right? I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right game here. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Got a really cool anime art style to it.
Yeah, I like it.
The anime opening for it is excellent. It's really cool and everything. You play as this girl named Ajna, who, as she's like going around this world and everything, when she meets new friends, they like get sucked up into her mind, and they're in this like different realm. And whenever she goes into battles, she calls 3 of them out, and you battle with them.
Yeah, I just saw that. She just attacked something, and 3 of her buddies came out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then it turns into like a turn-based thing?
Yeah. It's kind of like a Final Fantasy kind of turn-based thing where after you go, you kind of have to wait for your bar to fill up again before you can attack again. It's not like Pokemon where it's I go, you go, I go, you go. If your character is fast enough, they can go multiple times in a row.
Yo, this looks pretty awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I've probably put a good 15, 16 hours into it so far.
Oh, so it's a big game.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty big. It feels like I've played for that long at least. I think one problem I do have with it where I'm at is I've gone through 3 different areas, and I was supposed to like go into this boss battle area with who I'm guessing is the end game boss, and after beating them, I'm sent back out, and I have to go back through those 3 areas again. So it's kind of just like it's just sending me back to places I've already been before to find people that were already in my party again, which is really weird.
So it's essentially just making you backtrack just to add
to add on a little game time and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about that, but like gameplay wise, it's great. The battles are really awesome. Every character has their own unique attacks, and you can either do like up attacks, down attacks, or just normal attacks, and you also have like special attacks you can do. In the world, Ajna will get different movement abilities. Like there's one where she can bounce up and down on a spear, so she can go over like spikes and electrical areas. She can also wall jump. She can put her spike into some ceiling parts and like crawl across the ceiling. There's a bunch of stuff in there that's really cool. If you have Game Pass and you're looking for an RPG to take up some time, definitely give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely looks like something that would be up my alley. This would be an awesome xCloud game.
Yeah, it would.
Because
it would be a
you don't really
xCloud game.
Yeah. I wonder if it is on xCloud. I don't even know. Because I know they added a lot of Game Pass games to xCloud, but
I haven't checked lately.
I will also iOS beta, and we only have Master Chief Collection so far.
Ah, gotcha. I will say that the voice performances in this game are amazing. Just such a great voice cast. I know Matthew Mercer's in there. Some other voices that I recognize, but I didn't actually look up and see who it was. But I love the characters. I love the way they interact with each other. Their voices are great. Just a really brilliant put together game. And this is like one of those games that was like a Kickstarter success, and I just think it's great. Definitely give it a try.
Yeah, I definitely want to look into it. So my next game, I was going to talk about how I started playing Halo 5 again, because I started playing SWAT, but I actually played through the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo the other night. I think it was Monday when it came out. I played through it, and man, I am so excited for that game to come out now.
Yeah, did you play the original?
I was one of those dumb kids, I guess you could say, when it came to gaming. So I played some of it because like my brothers were playing it. The PlayStation was my brother's, so I didn't really, like it wasn't my thing to play. So, but when I could, I did try playing it, but I never beat the game. So I probably got through the first disc at least, like multiple times, but I never played through the whole game. But that beginning part, like, I know so well because I've seen it so many times, and it was just so nostalgic seeing, like, coming off that train and just the whole scene, man. It just, like, I'm so ready. I did not realize how excited I was for it. Like, I knew I was going to end up getting it the day it came out, but just playing it, like, I'm very surprised how well they were able to kind of change the gameplay from being, like, turn-based to kind of more hack and slash.
It's closer to Kingdom Hearts now.
Okay, I haven't really played Kingdom Hearts, but it's more hack and slash, and then you kind of, when you hold X, you can select what ability you want to use, and it kind of slows down time a lot. So it's like they kind of have like a blend kind of you know, turn-based and hack and slashy. But yeah, it's really fun. The graphics are amazing. I highly recommend trying it out. I don't know if you played it or not.
I haven't. I'm not gonna get it at launch. I think I want to try and get through the original first. I started that on Switch a while ago, and I'm pretty relatively I'm pretty far in. I would say I'm like 8-10 hours in, so I'm like through the first part. I know that is a huge game and could take quite a while, so I need to get back into it. I don't know, it looks beautiful and it just looks really fun and everything. I kind of want to go through and see everything how it originally was first.
Yeah, understandable. I don't think I could go back to playing it just because, like, I don't know. I feel like
there are some things that make it kind of rough. They do have a on the Switch version at least. They have a speed up thing.
What does that mean? Like everything is just twice as fast?
Like it goes. I think it goes up to 3 or 4 times faster.
Huh? That's pretty interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's really nice to have, so you get through all those really long cutscenes fast.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that to come out now. I'll probably be getting that day one. That's pretty much all I've been playing. I played a few other games here and there, but nothing worth bringing up.
Yeah, I can't say I've really gotten into anything huge lately besides Indivisible.
Yep. With that, let's get into some of the news, John. Let's talk about the biggest news of the day, probably of the week even, if not.
Yeah, because there's nothing this week.
Nothing. You heard the man. Nothing. You want to talk about this?
Yeah. All right. First off, we got an unannounced Star Wars Project Maverick leaking onto the PlayStation Store. This is from Matt Wales of Eurogamer. A previously unannounced new Star Wars title, currently going by the name Project Maverick, has leaked onto the PlayStation Store. Project Maverick was eventually spotted by a Reset Era user after its details were scraped and spat out onto the internet by the bot-driven Twitter account PSN Release. Ordinarily intended to notify followers of new PlayStation titles and updates as they arrive on Sony's store. In this instance, however, the bot dug up details presumably not intended for public release, pertaining to a game known simply as Maverick. That in itself wouldn't have drawn much attention were it not for the accompanying artwork. Featuring an Imperial Star Destroyer, several mingling X-Wings, and the censure, its full name Star Wars Project Maverick. Polygon, incidentally, which clearly knows more about Star Wars than I do, suggests the artwork also offers a glimpse of the volcanic planet Mustafar. As for the veracity of the leak, Kotaku reports Star Wars Project Maverick is legit. It's said to be the same smaller, more unusual title that Kotaku's Jason Schreier revealed to be in the works at EA Motive earlier this year. Hopefully EA will be ready to clear up some of the mystery soon. I would imagine that this is a thing that they're holding until E3.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's like, why is it already on the PSN store? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah,
like, it seems really early to have anything on the PSN store.
Well,
unless they sent it to somebody at Sony and they accidentally just put it up.
Well, it could just be like a pre-order thing. Otherwise, I mean, if it is gonna come out soon, it could be like an Apex thing last year where, hey, guess what? This is up. But if that were the case, I don't think it would be called Project Maverick. I think it would have an actual name.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation out there. People thinking that this is going to be some sort of dogfighting game, which I think could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can really go on by the image. It looks cool.
Yeah, you have some X-wings flying towards a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not much of a Star Wars guy, so I can't say I'm particularly excited for just this, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my dream right now is, for this at least, is that it is a dogfighting game and it has PSVR support. Because
that'd be cool. Kind of like the Star Wars Battlefront thing.
Yeah, in Star Wars Battlefront 2, they have it's called, what is it called? Like X-Wing VR mission or something. It's like a 15-20 minute experience where you're just pretty much dogfighting in an X-Wing, and it's pretty cool. I wish they had done more with it, but who knows? I mean, it was only seen on the PSN store so far, so it's possible that if it is a dogfighting game, it will have VR support. But I guess only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the next article. This article comes from Luke Plunkett at Kotaku. I just thought this was an interesting one because I don't think I've ever heard of anything like this before. A FIFA Pro loses after game disallows goal that clearly went in. Penalty shootouts are cruel at the best of times, but I've never seen anything like this. This is Giuseppe Guastella, I think is how you say it. A FIFA player so good he plays for the esports branch of the LA Galaxy, taking what would be the final shot in a shootout. As you and everyone else with eyes can see, the ball strikes the left upright, cannons back across the face, and then goes in. The net ripples. The ball ends up resting at the back. It's a goal. Only FIFA 20, for whatever reason, doesn't count it. Compare the visuals with the commentary in the recording below. And the recording I watched is just like the commentary in the game, and it's just like the commentator in the game going, "Oh, and he misses the goal." So it's just like it clearly just did not register in FIFA for some reason. That's heartbreaking. What's worse is that the tournament organizers, despite seeing the ball go in, sided with the game's determination that it did not go in and knocked Guastella out of the North American qualifiers for the FIFA Ultimate Team Champions Cup, even though it went in and we could all see it. So yeah, this is pretty wild. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah,
like clearly it's a glitch in the game. But it did go in. I feel like that had to have been such a tough call for those judges, or whatever.
Right? Because it went in, but the game doesn't acknowledge it.
It's kind of a lose-lose situation if you look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, could you imagine a situation like this happening in like a Call of Duty match?
Right.
I can't even think of like what, like, it comes down to the final kill or something and somebody just glitches through the map. Like, what would happen? They would probably just replay the match.
Yeah, man, I just don't know. That's a really tough situation.
Because, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is, I feel like, such a unique situation because I don't think I've ever heard of a game, like, glitching or bugging in the middle of a tournament of some sort, especially at a pro level.
I mean, it's happened. I remember seeing things for like Overwatch tournaments where like they're in the middle of a match and just the internet goes down, stuff like that.
I've seen that before, yeah. But I guess...
But nothing to this extent where like he literally lost because of it.
Yeah, do you think it would have been an easier fix if they were just like, okay, redo the whole shootout or replay the whole game? What do you think the proper move should have been here? Because
it would be better if there was just like a rewind function, but I mean, I kind of feel like you have to start it over.
The whole match, or just the shootout,
or the shootout at least. Like, I don't know. Can you do like I don't ever play. I've never. Yeah, played FIFA. I think can you set up like a shootout thing?
Yeah, I think you could just set out just a shootout mode.
Then just do that.
That's what I was kind of thinking because like technically they did tie in the match to go to a shootout, so I don't know. This is just this must have been such a hard call. I can't imagine being the person that has to make this decision.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But yeah, because like I said, like in Call of Duty or something, they would just start the the match over. So yeah, I think that would have been the move. Either starting the whole match over or just at least starting the shootouts over.
Yeah, I think starting the shootouts over would have been the best move.
I'm curious to see if like EA Sports or FIFA says anything about this.
Who was running the event?
I think it was like a pro league, like by EA Sports.
Then yeah, you would think that they've done something with it
because it's called the FIFA Ultimate Team Champions Cup. So hold on, I'm googling this.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up the guys.
Yeah, it's an
Twitter.
EA event. It's EA.com advertising the Champions Cup, so they have to say something about it, right? Eventually.
Yeah, I'm just on the actual guy's
Giuseppe.
Yeah, I'm on his Twitter right now, and he's just constantly just retweeting things saying that he got screwed out of it. Let's check out EA Sports FIFA patch notes. No, nothing. Yeah, nothing on their Twitter at least.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a weird situation. Yeah, that's pretty much it for news. Pretty weak here.
Week.
But I guess we could just get straight into the topic of the show, which I thought would be a good idea just to kind of talk about the coronavirus and how it could affect, the gaming industry and as a whole. Because as you know, GDC was technically postponed. I still don't have any faith that it'll actually happen, and if it does, it won't be nearly as big as it usually is. Do you think E3 gets canceled?
If you would have asked me yesterday, I would have said no. Now there's a state of emergencies like being sent out in Los Angeles and everything, and that really complicates things in my opinion. The ESA is still saying that they're monitoring and evaluating the situation daily, but so as of right now it's still set up to go as planned. But man, as we get closer, I really think we could start seeing some companies pull out if they don't postpone it.
Yeah, I agree.
And E3 they are probably the show, the gaming community, the gaming company, E3 has the most to lose this year from coronavirus, I think.
Yeah. I think GDC could also lose a lot as well.
Well, that one isn't as bad because it's game developers. It's not the public. E3 is, well...
They're relying. They're pretty much living paycheck to paycheck, year by year.
Yeah, they're already not as big as they used to be. They've got a lot of people thinking negatively about them, especially after...
Jeff Keighley backed out?
Yeah, Jeff Keighley backed out. Sony's not there already. Last year, with them leaking everyone's... information, E3 is looking as down as it has possibly ever. Yeah. I would think that it's getting more and more likely that they're gonna postpone it, but if that happens, I think a lot of companies just go to a Nintendo Direct style show anyway, and then whenever E3 would happen, you would have barely anyone there. I think you would still have people there, but probably be more indie titles and everything. Not as many. I don't think you would see Sony there again. I think Nintendo would completely drop out. Microsoft would probably be there, but who else would be? If Bethesda and Square were to run their own Nintendo Direct style thing, why would they throw on another show? So if it happens, it would be a much smaller show than we're used to.
Yeah, my thought process is kind of, if E3 does get canceled, and I think it's looking more and more likely every day, that these companies are going to start doing their own, Nintendo Direct, State of Play type deals. And
Which is kind of where it's already going.
Yeah, and once they do, their own thing once, they're going to realize, hey, that was really cheap and easy. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should just do that from now on.
And we had all the focus on us. There was no one else stealing our thunder.
Exactly. We dropped it, maybe organized with other, I don't know, publishers, developers, and be like, all right, this is the day we're going to drop our thing.
Mm-hmm.
That way, I mean, granted, some publishers and developers aren't going to care because they're so big that it doesn't matter to them what you're doing, but still, you drop it on a random Friday morning and you're going to get a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's not just like trade shows that are being affected so far. The Outer Worlds Switch port has been delayed because the company was dealing with a lot of coronavirus issues. I think there is some other game out there that was getting delayed or just needed some more
I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily yesterday, and Imran Khan was saying that there's a game that he knows about that they were going to announce it by now, but they can't announce it because with the announcement is coming a collector's edition, and they can't guarantee that the collector's edition will be able to be, manufactured because it'll be being made in China, and, they can't guarantee it'll be made. So they can't announce the game because they can't announce the collector's edition.
But there's just a game ready to be announced.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've said I don't know who Imran's sources are or whatever, but apparently he knows that, he's like, yeah, they said they would have announced the game already had they, had coronavirus never been a thing that everybody's worried about right now. And
did he say what company?
No, he did not.
Nah, okay. Yeah.
You think it's the Starr Wars one?
That would actually make the most sense with it being leaked and everything.
That would, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking that, but I was trying to think. Because,
But
Platinum Games are still already announcing their stuff, so it wouldn't be them.
Yeah, but they're also not, they haven't announced, collector's edition. So whatever game is coming out, the collector's edition must be a big deal.
Yeah.
If they're that worried about, selling it.
Or I wonder if it could be that Batman game.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, John.
I mean, maybe
at this rate, that game's not getting announced until 2025.
It's just gonna be constantly teased at.
Yeah, they're gonna be spoon feeding us stuff every 6 months.
No kidding. There's a lot of options there, but man, now I just want to know what game it is.
I know, and I listen to Kind of Funny Games Daily pretty frequently, so I'm assuming once it does finally come out, Imran will say something, or I don't know. But yeah, speaking of manufacturing and stuff, how do you think this affects the next gen consoles coming out? You think that, I don't know, do you think that if the coronavirus stays, kind of how it is right now, do you think any of the Sony or Microsoft delay their console release at all, or do you think they just release the console without being able to fulfill orders, kind of like a Wii situation?
I think it will matter more what we're looking at during the summertime with coronavirus, because I wouldn't think that they're mass producing these already, right?
I mean, maybe not mass producing, but I have to imagine they're at least manufacturing the shells of them, something.
Yeah, they've got the dev kits and everything. I don't.
But I imagine that they're already in production in terms of maybe not the hardware side of it, but maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the plastic shell might already be in production.
Yeah.
Because that's not changing at all.
Me not knowing how early they start producing these or what they're at or anything, I think we'll really learn more during the summertime on that. Earlier this year when we had Chad and Holden on and we did our prediction video, I was predicting that the Xbox was coming out in October and the PS5 was coming out early November. This coronavirus stuff does really make that more up in the air to me. I could see them delaying it to early 2021, but I think for both Microsoft and Sony, neither of one of them want to delay it that far. Like, they want these consoles out on time
for the holiday, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of like where it's kind of like hit or miss for me. Like, I could see them delaying it, just so that they have, the stock there to fulfill orders. Because I also feel like it's kind of a shitty situation to also, say they don't have as much stock, and it's as hard to find as the Wii was when it came out.
Nintendo always does that kind of thing, though, but they do it for like the build up hype thing, like, oh, everyone wants this. Sony and Microsoft are on the other end. They want your money up front.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying is, like, I feel like worst case scenario for them is they don't have enough to sell, and they have a bunch of, people's moms wanting to buy them Xbox Series X's come Christmas time, but they can't. And they're forced to go to an eBay reseller selling it for 1.5 times the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting summer to see how everything plays out. Like, even like if E3 gets canceled, that's a big deal. That is a huge deal.
Maybe. I think the PS5 and Xbox Series X are both shown off before E3.
I think so as well, but I could also see Xbox being an E3 event just because they're always, like the Sunday of E3.
Yeah, but Phil Spencer has been very adamant about E3 being a games show. Like, it's all about the games and everything. Sense, yeah. So, who knows? We'll see what happens. There's a lot of time before any of this, like, actually happens or anything, and I'm sure companies are very much talking about this constantly every day about what's going on. They just haven't made it public yet.
Yep. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a topic, I'm sure, every week.
Oh, yeah. It's something that we'll talk about at least for the next month or two. Like I said, it just really depends where we're at during the summer with coronavirus and just like how big it still is at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Well, John, with that...
Man, we still got 17 minutes.
This short podcast comes to an end.
That's a short podcast.
It is. This has been episode 91 of the Pixel Street Podcast. As always, go follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street Pod. We're going to be doing a giveaway here fairly soon, probably in the next few months. Yeah, you could follow me on Twitter at Campos63. Check me out on Mixer. I've been streaming a lot more lately. Mixer.com/Campos63. Probably going to stream some Halo this weekend, maybe. Who knows?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, John, where can we find you?
On Twitter, I am at Revx Shadows. You can also find me on YouTube by searching Revx Shadows. On Mixer, again, just Revx Shadows. I will be streaming Ori and the Will of the Wisp next week. Besides that, man, I would like to get a stream going sometime this week, but I'm not sure what I'll stream.
Stream that, what's that game called you were playing? Indivisible, there you go. Stream that.
I think I'm too far in to do that now, but we'll see. Maybe.
All right, well, we will see you right here next week for episode 92.
Bye.